I won't be back with any more Terminator reviews after this one here. Terminator Genisys. Is this the Back to the Future 2 of the Terminator franchise? Or is it more like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 of the Terminator franchise? I'm going to share my thoughts with you here and now. And so it comes to an end. Yes, this is the last of the Terminator movies for me to review. That's right, if you haven't been watching, I reviewed Dark Fate straight after Terminator 2 Judgment Day to see how it plays off the back of that movie. I've worked my way through the others, and here we are at 2015's Terminator Genisys, directed by Alan Taylor, who I believe is involved in Game of Thrones, which kind of makes sense because Emilia Clarke stars in it as Sarah Connor. We also have the personality vacuum, Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese. Arnie returns as the Terminator. Jason Clarke, John Connor. We also have J.K. Simmons in a rather wasted role as well. So this film here, much like Terminator Salvation and much like Dark Fate after it, was meant to kick off a new trilogy of Terminator movies. Each one failed miserably at doing that. But this film here decided it wanted to go back and play in the playground of Terminator 1. Much akin to Back to the Future 2 did with Back to the Future Part 1. It goes back and it shows the events of that first film again. The film opens in the future. Kyle Reese as a soldier. We come to find out how, as a young boy, he is found by John Connor. Completely contradicts anything that happened in Terminator Salvation. Okay, different timelines, all this sort of thing. I know you can come out with that sort of stuff, but it kind of dismisses all of that. And this is at towards the end of the war, where the human resistance is winning against Skynet, and we get to see the first Terminator being sent back, and Kyle Reese has to step into the time displacement machine to be sent back to save Sarah Connor. But as he's sent back, he witnesses what looks like John Connor being attacked by Doctor Who. Matt Smith, yes. And this has an impact. This creates a nexus point that kind of changes time and changes everything. So there we are with John Connor appearing back in 1984 during the events of the first Terminator film. But what we come to find out is that another Terminator prior to that has been sent. It's killed Sarah Connor's family. Sarah Connor was saved by the Arnie type Terminator that's still with her, looking after her from a very young age, expecting John Connor to arrive. She's already soldiered up and all this sort of a thing, and she rescues him. There's a T-1000 running around, you know, the liquid metal robot. Obviously nothing as cool as what Robert Patrick gave us in Terminator 2. It's all a load of fan service at this point in the movie. We then get to another point in the movie where they've got to jump forward in time. They got to jump forward to 2017 because of something called GENISYS that is coming about, some new operating system, which is, again, Skynet wanting to take over everything. My God, this movie is convoluted. It truly is. We have J.K. Simmons, who plays a police officer. He's one of the police officers at the start of the Terminator, who chases Kyle Reese into that clothes store where Kyle Reese nicks the Nike trainers. And in his older days, he's played by J.K. Simmons. Like I said, wasted in the movie completely. And John Connor comes back as the bad guy. Now, people give Terminator Dark Fate a dig for killing off John Connor at the very start of it as a young boy. This film turns him into the baddie of the piece. A Terminator in himself. Okay, so I'm sat there, I'm watching this film. I haven't watched this film for some time because I don't really want to see a remake of The Terminator. I don't want to see these classic characters like Sarah Connor, Kyle Reese, portrayed by lesser individuals. Amelia Clarke is no Linda Hamilton whatsoever, although she ain't too bad in it. I've kind of warmed to her in this movie. Jai Courtney, I think, you know, I've only ever seen him in one decent role, and that was in Suicide Squad as Boomerang. Other than that, I ain't seen him anything any good. He is a vacuum of personality. He will suck your any personality out of a room. That's what he does. And here we've got this buff, pretty boy looking thing who looks nothing like a soldier. At least Kyle Reese, Michael Biehn in the first Terminator film, looked like a soldier, looked like someone who had been at war, who had been fighting. He was dirty, he was gruff, he wasn't muscular, you know, he was more trim, this sort of a thing, you know, because food's got to be scarce there. But these people look like they are pumping out, doing weights all the time. You know what I mean? Anyway, so you got Arnie, who has rescued Sarah Connor at a young age, and now he's aged, he's getting older, you know, he's all shaky because his joints are going and all this sort of a thing. And yeah, we're just given this convoluted mess of a goddamn movie. But what makes this movie even worse is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 effect. All right, because this film was made with the possibility, or with them wanting to do 2 other Terminator films following up from this one. So this film sets up all these key little components that would have come to light in a further movie. And I'm talking about things like the mystery behind Arnie, the first Arnie. Who sent Arnie back to protect Sarah Connor when she was younger? Who's behind that? We don't know. We never come to find out. At the end of it, Arnie, he survives this film, the only film which an Arnie Terminator survives, and he becomes a T-1000 liquid metal robot. So potentially we would have had him going forward as a T-1000. You know, there's some good setup in this, some good questions that you want answered, you know, but you don't get the answers. And that is a big problem that on a rewatch, well, on any potential future rewatch will make me say, no, I don't want to visit this film because I know I'm going to be left dangling with story and thread points. But not only that, this film looks like it you know, there's elements to this film where they kind of, it looks like Dark Fate kind of stole ideas from it. You could see little bits of it in there. Even this film in itself looks like it's taken from Terminator Sarah Connor Chronicles, because at the end of that, there's them jumping forward. In that, there's them jumping forward in time, John Connor and that sort of a thing. And that's exactly what this film does. Sarah Connor, John Connor going forward in time. This film has Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese going forward in time. The stuff about Arnie coming from a dead timeline, that's picked up again in Dark Fate. There's these ideas. This film looks pretty. It's a pretty looking popcorn movie, okay, but not in the sense that Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is. That one is far better than this film. There's some good moments with Arnie. I enjoy Arnie in this. I enjoy elements of his Terminator in this. The way he's the protector to Sarah Connor, a father figure to Sarah Connor. I quite like that element of this movie. But overall, this is not a good film. You know, you don't take a film like The Terminator and try and redo it. Try and recast it and things like that, because you're never going to come off winning. It's a classic movie, and this film here is essentially a remake, but let's do something different with it, of that film. Let's play a lot of fan service, and let's just fall foul of doing that and drop the ball completely unable to find said ball. I didn't enjoy my rewatch of this movie. I really didn't. I don't think it is a great film at all. That being said, Arnie's good. Amelia Clarke is okay. J.K. Simmons, wasted, but good in the film. And you just wish that he had a lot more to do in the movie. But alas, we didn't get it. So, yeah, Terminator Dark Fate. There's my lenticular there. That's quite nice, actually. Yeah, Terminator Dark Fate. Yeah. Not Dark Fate, sorry, this is GENISYS. I'm saying Dark Fate, what's wrong with me? My head's a scramble. Yeah, this is a scramble of a movie. Convoluted timeline mess of a movie. And I don't even know that it works. But did it work for you? Let me know in the comments down below. And that's me done. That's the end of my visit to the Terminator movie franchise. Yes, I could open it up to Terminator, the Terminator Zero, the Netflix series. I did do a review of that some time ago when it first came out. And I could open it up to the Sarah Connor Chronicles, but I'm not going to sit through all them again right now. But I do enjoy that, and I think that, what's her face in that? I forget the actress's name now, the one from Game of Thrones and Dread. It's going to bug me. I think she's a pretty damn good Sarah Connor. Better than Emilia Clarke. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts on this movie is. And I will be back soon in a few days with my promised ranking of the Terminator franchise. From worst to best. How do you think I'm going to rank them based on my reviews? Let me know in the comments down below. And I shall see you on the next one. But it won't be the Terminator. But the ranking will be. See you then.